Hello again YouTube, this is Pure230688 aka BW Angelos, and I'm here to bring you my third commentary video for a 2v2 battle on the Provence map. There are only two 2v2 maps, Provence and Bavaria, and most of my battles seem to be on Provence. I mean, Empire really needs some new maps, doesn't it? Anyway, I play as America, and I have 5 long riflemen, 4 guards units, and 4 line infantry, backed up by 4 regiment of horse and a general's bodyguard. My ally, Jacklg, has 4 regiment of horse also. He plays as Great Britain. 5 green jackets, and a mixture of Coldstream Guards, Black Watch, and line infantry. And a general as well. My opposition, which is Russia and Prussia. Russia has a mixture of line infantry and elite infantry, backed up by 2 hand mortar companies, and a mixture of dragoons and household cavalry. I'm just adjusting the sound here. And in front, which you can't see at the moment, there are riflemen in front. Now Prussia has a fairly standard force, 4 Uhlans, and 2 Uhlans and 2 household cavalry, backed up by a mixture of line infantry and elite infantry, and with some Prussian Jaegers, which you can't see. Right, now, this is a little bit further on now. Russia looked like it was redeploying to attack me, and I did not want to be attacked by both Russia and Prussia at once, so I asked Jack to move up and attack them. But seeing Jack's army approach, Russia pulled back to its original positions. Now, if this was me, I would have moved everyone up now and attacked Russia as it was redeploying, because you can see they're not facing me, and they're not in a line, and they've got no one covering them. So this would be the ideal time to attack, but Jack lets the opportunity pass, and instead attacks the riflemen who are behind. Here we go. He's going to fire at these Russian riflemen who are redeploying. Like I said, I mean, if he had moved all of his men up with his riflemen, he could have caught all the Russian units out of position there. Right, so that's killed a few of the Russian riflemen. Panning back over to me. Right, now I massed all my long riflemen, which the enemy couldn't see, on one flank, and then I made it look like I was moving through the centre. So he decided to put all of his Jaegers moving on towards my riflemen. Of course, he couldn't see my riflemen until the last second, so I took a large portion of them off guard and killed half of the 2 units that had moved over there. Okay, so he backs those 2 Prussian Jaeger units up with 2 of his own, and this is now going to turn into a rifle exchange. The Prussian Jaegers are a better quality than my men, but I outnumber them by 2 units. Now, I'd sent these 4 units over to assist Jack in attacking Russia, because I assumed he would attack Russia as they were redeploying, so I was going to use those 4 units to get behind Russia and help finish him off, but like I said, the opportunity passed and that never occurred, so I'm pulling them back now to help deal with Prussia. Right, so seeing his Jaegers slightly ahead of his line, I moved 2 line infantry through my long riflemen to attack the Jaegers and get rid of them quickly, because if I can get rid of his riflemen, I then have range superiority, which will allow me to better deal with his army. And you can see them now moving across and setting up in front of my riflemen. Okay, now seeing he counters my my 2 units with 1 unit of his. So instead of firing at the Jaegers, because they're so spaced out I wouldn't be able to hit many of them, I then focused both of my line infantry on this 1 unit which is directly ahead of me. So here we go. 6 volleys in all will be fired at this particular line infantry unit. That's 6 to his 3, so that really, you can see it chops his men to pieces. Okay, so now he's moved his guards units up and line infantry units up to attack my main line. I'm backing up my skirmishers with putting 2 more rifle units behind them. Right, I moved this cavalry unit through because I could see a gap in his lines, but he filled it by putting these 2 household cavalry units in, and he kept going and charged into my line infantry, which I quickly put into a square formation. Okay, now on the right you can see him trying to outflank me around the right. I can see what he's doing. He's sending 2 Uhlans and 2 guards units around my right flank, so I counter with 3 regiment of horse, I should say, and a guards unit of my own. Right, now because I had my men in square, there was a gap in my line, and he exploited that and attacked my rifleman. I should have deployed stakes, but I didn't. Right, now this is really turning into a lot of miniature battles now. You just saw my cavalry attack his Uhlans, but before that I managed to get through a gap in his lines and get at his Jaegers, which are behind. There they are. On the other side, I'm going to have to start talking really fast at this rate, because this is turning into a mass battle here. Right, on that particular battle, I've had to send my general in to help protect my riflemen, who are now redeploying further back out of the way. That was a bad move on my part, because my general cops it. On the right, his Uhlans are too heavily upgraded for my households to deal with properly, so I pull them back. Back on the left again, I'm moving my skirmishers round to start firing at the households, and my line infantry are still engaged with those households in squares. But there's the message saying my generals died. Like I said, if I had some cavalry units to spare, I would have sent them in, but they're all slightly busy at the moment. To the back, my one cavalry unit is messing around with his Jaegers. In this middle, my men are still holding him at bay, but his Uhlans chased my cavalry away and then saw a gap and it struck at my infantry from behind. You can see them go in there. Slightly irritating, but as you can imagine, it's rather difficult to micromanage a battle where we're being attacked on 3 sides. So, on the left, I finished off his households, so I send my surviving line infantrymen to help the cavalry deal with the Jaegers. Here is where his Uhlans smashed into the back of my guards unit. I smashed into the back of the Uhlans with my free household, not household, what are they called? Regiment of Horse, that's the one. Ooh, blimey. Anyway, right. Okay, over here, my damn it, it's in the wrong thing. Regiment of Horse are still engaged with the Prussian Jaegers. They're getting a bit exhausted now, and eventually they'll rout. The Prussians still have one guards unit over there, and it's mincing up my line infantry unit in melee. In the centre, he's charged a guards unit into my centre as well, and that's not doing too well. It's going to rout soon. On the right, though, he's encircled one of my own guard units and has destroyed it. Seeing my right flank collapse, I pull all my cavalry back. On the left, I've lost a line infantry to the Prussian guards in melee. My cavalry, I've had to pull them out because the guards have chased them off. Right, now, I'm now going to have to redeploy because my right flank has totally collapsed now. I'm having to redeploy back along the top of the hill to face this main Prussian army. Now to delay the Prussians from attacking me, I've had to virtually sacrifice all my cavalry while I get my men sorted out. Now, on the left again, my cavalry, my surviving cavalry off on the left, is still trying to stop those Prussian Jaegers from shooting at me, and my long riflemen, they're in front trying to deal with this guards unit. That's the only Prussian guards unit that's left on the left. You can see its banner way in the background there, winking at me. That means it's gonna. Yep, there we go. That's it, routed. That means the Prussians' left has collapsed, which means now I can now move all my left round onto a straight line with my right, so I can then deal with these line infantry, Prussian line infantry that's coming at me. Right, so I charge again into his line infantry to delay him, but this ends up being a bad mistake on my part because I charged into his middle instead of his flank. So now I charge into his middle. It's like you know, if you punch through I don't know, a piece of paper, and then the piece of paper envelops you. If you get my drift, you put your fist into a piece of paper, and then the paper just. Yeah, that's a really good comparison, isn't it? Well, anyway, right. So basically, my cavalry are stuck. That's what I'll say. They're stuck. So they can't get out now, and the enemy general was charged in as well to try and finish him off. So here, technically, I should have backed up my cavalry. It's a blinking mistake on my part because I could have got all the Prussian units here, and they'll run off now. Anyway, I could have moved my line infantry up, but it's like I was saying earlier. It's rather difficult to try and think of about a million things at once. So instead, I sent my skirmishers forward to attack and try and get his general. But this was a bad move because I forgot half my skirmishers had fired and hadn't reloaded. So there, only about 2 of them had loaded weapons. Okay, this is going to be the end of the first part soon. This is a very, very long battle, this, but I hope you enjoy it because it's one of my favourite battles I've actually played in for a long time. So it's going to end any second. Right, anyway. Stay tuned for part 2. I'll get editing that straight away.